Happy Wednesday. Happy Mind Your Wednesday. So, a couple of weeks ago, I came home and I noticed this kind of stint or smell in my basement. Now, I've never had a smell in my basement before, so it was obvious that it was something going on because I never have smelled anything, or my basement doesn't smell like a traditional basement. So, I got some spray and kind of sprayed to kind of, I guess, get rid of the odor and just let it be. A few days later, I came back. The smell was still there and a little bit stronger than it was the days prior. Did the same thing, kind of walked around looking, because I hear people talk about, moisture being in the basement, and looked around, didn't see any water anywhere, and was thinking, well, maybe it's just because it's been hot and I hadn't really been in and out of my basement in several weeks after my shoulder surgery. So I was like, maybe it's just, stale because, I hadn't been in and out. So did the spray thing again. Another few days have passed and come back now. The smell is really strong. And now I'm seeing kind of like residue kind of surface on some of the items in the basement. Still don't see any water or anything. And curious to know, like, okay, what's going on? Smell is stronger. Now I'm seeing, residue on some things. So I wiped some stuff down, spray yet again, and come back yet another few more days later, and the smell is just kind of unbearable. Now I can smell it upstairs. And this residue, which was mildew, was kind of on several things in the basement now. But I still don't see a source of where this moisture water is coming from. I can smell it and I can see some residue of it, but I don't see where the source is, right? So, okay, in order for me to sleep sound and not be all congested, I need to clean it up. So the other day, I had someone come over, so we're starting to clean through and go through the basement. And I have this, really, I think it's nice, a nice cabinet in my basement, kind of a display cabinet. And we get kind of a third of the way through the basement, and he gets to it and he pulls the cabinet away from the wall. It had been kind of flush to the wall. Pulls it away, and lo and behold, what do we see? All this moisture, yucky, whatever, on the backside of this cabinet and against the wall in the basement. So we proceed to clean it up. And so I started thinking, like, you ever have those moments where something just doesn't feel right? People call it intuition, your gut. You have this gut feeling something's not quite right. I say it's the spirit telling you to do, not to do most of the time. And you don't really pay attention, but that's kind of what it made me think about. I smelled it first before I saw any residue of anything. And a lot of times we have this kind of eerie kind of feeling when we get around certain people or in certain environments, and you really don't necessarily pay that close attention, and you kind of brush over it, kind of like I did, and just sprayed a little spray thinking the odor would go away. And then you kind of let it linger, and now the residue of that thing or that person that's been around you kind of starts to settle on you, and then you get a little off, and you're still that's something that's something that's telling you. It's just, it gets a little deeper, and then it just becomes kind of unbearable, or they do something like, okay, that's off, that's not right, that's, or something happens that really triggers you to be like, ah, now I see that's the source of where it's coming from, or that attitude or that spirit or something that's on that person, and now it's obvious. But pay attention to those little signs, because that know, or that little nudge in your gut, that intuition, it's telling you something. It's warning you of something. Now, had I delved more closer or closely to trying to find out initially a few weeks prior where the smell came from, was coming from, it wouldn't have gotten as bad. So pay attention to that thing that gives you an indicator of something is off. Whatever you call it, your intuition, your spirit, that gut feeling, or something told me thing. Yeah, it does that for a reason. So pay attention to it because it may be ever so subtle, but as if it lingers, it becomes worse and it can become a major issue and it be more than just a smell that you have to end up cleaning up. Guys, I hope this has given you something to think about this Wednesday on Mind Your Wednesday. And as always, if no one has told you that they love you today, I love you, I love you, I love you. You guys be a great day. Talk with you soon. Bye.